What's up, active reloaders? It is episode 42. We got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about today. We got Fallout TV show. Big stuff happening in the Fallout world, the Fallout universe, if you will. Final Fantasy VII, not doing very good. The Rebirth, not doing very... It kind of didn't come out very well, if you get my drift. And a bunch of other stuff. Group of fans, they released an unofficial launcher for Lawbreakers 2.0, if you will. So yeah, we're going to get into it really quickly. Grant, what's your favorite number 42?
Isn't Ronnie Lott 42?
Okay, there's a right answer there. It's Jackie Robinson.
Okay.
Let's get into the show. Okay, Grant. Well, actually, first, to our beautiful audience, we want to apologize for last week.
For absolutely nothing.
It was a disaster last week.
Why?
In terms of audio.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, as you're listening to this now, it sounds a lot better.
Yeah.
And I think it does.
You know what? I'm not going to apologize.
Nah, I'll apologize. Not great. We got all the setups here. If there was some way we could show you some sort of mechanism or some sort of electronic device that allowed us to show you what we're working with in here.
Yeah, I know.
We could show you guys. Yeah, but we don't have that at our disposal. But we should have done better, and we just didn't. We didn't knock the ball down.
Yeah, someone's fired.
And then,
for sure.
But honestly, it happened, and then afterwards we found out, and we were like, well, we can't re-record everything.
Well, it's always, and I also on the top of this show, I want to say something. James, this is my favorite time of the week.
Favorite time of the week?
It's my favorite time. I love doing this.
Not over Friday?
Yes, I love doing this with you. It's awesome.
Appreciate it,
I
man.
like talking with video games with somebody.
Well, it's better when we can hear one another during the episode.
Yeah.
That helps. And last week that didn't happen. So,
speaking of episodes, blah. No, I'm just joking.
So, this week it's going to be better.
Yeah, it is.
And it shall be better moving forward. I think we got it all figured out. Lots of things working on. So, we're getting it down. But thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show. We got a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. Number one on the list today, and I think number one on top of everybody's minds when it comes to video games right now, is the Fallout TV show. Yeah,
TV show.
TV show. Not a game. A TV show. A TV show. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fallout TV show came out last week to resounding applause. I think the last I checked, it has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, if I remember correctly, which is...
What about the audience score? Is that pretty high,
I didn't see the audience score. I apologize. But I would assume it's pretty close.
I mean, I haven't met one person outside of me who is not a fan.
He's a hater.
I'm not a hater at all, and I'll explain why. But James...
Can I start?
Yes, please.
First?
Let's go positive.
So I finished it. I finished it last week.
I didn't know you finished it.
Yeah, I finished it last week. Very good. I was very, very impressed with what they put together on that show. I had almost no expectations going into that show because I saw the first trailer. I think it was a Super Bowl ad, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was.
That they showed the first trailer for that game, or for the, see, I'm messing it up, for the TV show. And I was like, it just didn't get, the vibe they were trying to put off didn't really match what I was expecting. And I honestly think it was just kind of a bad trailer, to be honest with you, now looking back on it, because they don't really match a lot of the...
Taking it off.
Charisma, and it's kind of chilly in here, but it's not cold enough to be double layered. Yeah. So now here we are. But to match some of the charisma of the actual show itself, and I think they somehow nailed the feeling that you kind of get as you're roaming the wasteland in the Fallout games, the newer Fallout games 3, New Vegas, and 4. I think a lot of the dialogue feels like dialogue that you would get on dialogue trees from that video game, or from those video games. Yeah,
that's true. There's a lot of Easter eggs that are cool.
Tons.
In the first episode, they make sure to showcase what is the health booster?
Stim pack.
The Stim pack, and also the skooma. It's the skooma version of the Fallout series. It's the drug. Skooma is
Jet.
Yeah, Jet.
Yeah.
Skooma is in the Elder Scrolls.
Oh, it's their version. That
gives you a boost in your endurance and your speed, I think.
Gotcha.
And your character can be addicted to it. Just like in Fallout, your character can, if you do too much of that jet, it comes with radiation.
Yeah. and then you become addicted to it.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. Yeah, all in that first episode, they kind of touch on a bunch of different things that happen in the Fallout universe, from a raid by raiders who were in the other vault, essentially sitting right next to them, and the way that the raiders kind of act is very raidery, if that makes sense. That fits in the universe.
Definitely.
And yeah, just a ton of the Easter eggs, and some of the. I think some of it can be construed if it wasn't a show that was also good on top of it. I think if it was a bad show, it could have been seen as pandering. Just throwing the Easter eggs in there for no other purpose than to throw them in there. But with everything that was happening around it, it kind of felt like it fit into the rest of the universe. It wasn't just thrown in there to be thrown in there. And every kind of section that you saw an Easter egg of some kind had a purpose to it. And for that, I appreciated it. I think the characters are very well written. It's acted really well. I think Walton Goggins is amazing, but I don't think anybody expected him to be bad. He's amazing in everything. He plays the ghoul, for those of you that don't know. He provides a really cool backstory to the Vault-Tec boy as well, essentially.
He does?
Yes, he does.
Is this spoiler territory here?
It's kind of a little bit of spoiler. It's not really.
Oh wait,
I mean,
I caught that.
Right. I think it's in the trailer. He does the thumbs up. Yeah, and it's in the first episode. Yeah. So
I've only gotten to the first episode.
Right. Yeah. He bailed on it, which makes me sad because it's really good.
It does. Don't let it make you sad. It's not anything in the game or the movie or whatever the heck it is.
It's a show.
I'm definitely more into movies. I have a hard time getting into shows.
It is 8 hours.
I
haven't
haven't
take out of your life.
been able to get into a show since Game of Thrones season 4, and
that was a long time. I think I was still in high school when that
and
was
before that, it might have been never. I don't think I've ever gotten into a dramatic or action show. I like comedy,
so
on
like,
TV.
You never watched like The Sopranos?
Yeah, I watched The Sopranos.
Okay.
I mean, I watched it with my wife. I've really had to force my way into that. It was cool because it was believable, and that kind of my problem with TV shows. I got a lot of problems with TV shows when it comes to me. I have to buy what you're selling,
right?
So I cannot buy the characters in this, and I can buy the writing, and I can buy the backdrops and the look and everything, sort of. But I can't buy the characters. I can't buy the action. I can't buy the drama, and I can't buy the acting. I'm not a fan of the acting. I like Goggins, but the entire time he's talking like this because he has a prosthetic over his nose. And that's fine. It's impossible to avoid that, but to me, that's all I hear. And it just takes me out. I have the movie magic, TV show magic, Hollywood magic, whatever you want to call it. It's been gone for me for decades, and I can't.
That makes me sad.
It does make you sad, but to be fair, I really like a new show now. I don't want to, take out Fallout's wings, but I really like Shogun. I thought the TV show Shogun, I think it's on FX.
Yeah, FX, Hulu.
I'm completely sold with everything in that show.
It's also a historical.
Yes, it's a famous book.
Yeah, I think it's a nonfiction, if I remember correctly, too.
Yes. Well, yeah, it definitely, that guy exists.
The book, yeah.
But there's also been a TV show in the 80s, or it was a mini series in the 80s.
Really? I didn't know that.
7 hours long.
Man, that's funny that they call it a miniseries. And now it's like
that's just a basic
that's Fallout
TV show.
season 1.
Yeah.
That's all of Fallout season 1.
So how many episodes were it?
There's 8. There's 8.
Okay.
They're an hour each.
And
about an hour each.
And it was renewed for a second season.
I don't know. Has it already? Because I would be stunned if it wasn't. Because they definitely leave it off in an area where you expect a follow up after the last episode. But they even like a lot of the things that they nailed for me were the fact that the music was incredible. Our TV to our left here just went out, so that scared us. But we're good. The music, obviously, that was probably going to be an easy part of it. To be honest with you, basically all you have to get is this licensed music from the big band jazz era of the 40s and 50s, and you're probably going to hit it on the head. But they got music from previous Fallout games that you can listen to. And then also when they're playing the music, I thought was a nice touch. It's kind of when they're roaming the wastes and whatnot is when they're actually playing the music, which is something that every Fallout fan has ever done. And then also kind of the feeling that you get from the main character's name is Lucy, of it kind of being a quest in a very similar sense that the other Fallout games have had. She's finding her dad in the wasteland, which is basically Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. It was your son, essentially.
Son,
but it was pretty much the same thing. And I was like, okay, they clearly know the source material of what they're going after.
What is his name? Jonathan Nolan? Is that Christopher Nolan's
Jonathan
brother?
Nolan. Yeah, it's his brother. Yeah.
They did, or he wrote Westworld.
Yeah.
And I thought the first season was pretty good. And I think that this Fallout series is probably better than Westworld.
Wow. I haven't seen Westworld.
I've
heard Westworld season 1 is really good.
It is. The second half gets, to me, with TV shows, they get off the rails so easily for me. And once that happens, I give up.
I think the better version of TV shows are miniseries.
Yeah,
personally.
I really like, what is that? True Detective season 1. You can call that a miniseries. It was written and directed, or it was directed by the same guy. I think.
Yeah, Cary Joji Fukunaga. Yes.
And he's great. He's a great director.
He directed the last James Bond movie too.
Oh, really?
Can't remember the name of it. No Time to Die.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
I think he directed that. I'm saying that, but now I'm second guessing. I'm almost positive he did though.
Okay.
So I'm going to say yes. He did. He did. 100%.
But I like the fact that they use his vision throughout the entire show.
Yeah, it helps.
And yeah, it definitely helps.
Oh, and that's the thing though. A lot of those
helps when there's only 6 episodes. Right.
A lot of those shows too. They'll have showrunners or the writers. They'll have multiple writers that will. They all like so. This show in Fallout, they had 3 different writers, maybe 4 different writers, but they were all starting from the beginning. So it's not like they just brought in a new writer every time, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
they were all around the room at the same time, and they said, okay, you're going to write these 2 episodes. It's all going to follow the same path. You're going to write these 2 episodes, yada, 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 until we get to the end, essentially. So there is a connection to it. You know, it doesn't feel disjointed.
I also come from an era where video game adaptations were absolutely terrible.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up, actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can we maybe possibly... 5? No, because there's not very many of them.
Mario Brothers.
I think we might be able to, and this is crazy.
What?
We might be able to drive a stake into the curse. It might be over.
Yeah.
The video game adaptation curse.
I'd like to see a video game movie make it well.
You're right. That's fair. I would argue Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Yeah.
The newer one. Was it the Super Mario Bros. Movie? I can't remember what it was called. Good. Sonic movie apparently did pretty good as well.
I've seen that.
I don't know if that's great or not.
Although that movie is really, I like it, and Odin really likes it, my son. Mm-hmm. It doesn't really feel like a Sonic game movie adaptation of the game. It just feels like there's a character named Sonic who runs fast in it. Right.
It might as well be the Flash, but it's a hedgehog.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's blue. But yeah, I think with The Last of Us, the first season of that TV show nailed that story. And then this, I was honestly, which is crazy to me because I came out of The Last of Us TV show and I was like, I like this is gonna. I think I've said this on the show.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
I like the season 1 show more than I like the video game because the game for me is very long and I don't love a lot of the combat. I've said that multiple times on the show.
I get it.
But I might lean more towards Fallout being a little bit better, to be honest with you, because it was so unexpected and how good it was for me, and
it feels like the game.
It feels like the game, but it's also they're telling an original story, whereas The Last of Us is just retelling the first game.
Yeah, that's essentially really annoying. And then changing it up just enough to make me mad.
I liked it a lot. I thought they nailed everything that they needed to nail. I thought they got it. But the fact that they're doing an original show and an original concept inside of the show, and it's very interesting because they keep a lot of the Vault-Tec stuff and how the vaults are experimenting on humans essentially in every one of these vaults, and there's a unique story there as well as a unique story going on the outside, and it really ties it all together very well with the present day world as well, which I didn't know how they were going to be able to do that, but they tie it together in a bow that's actually works really well.
Yeah,
so,
I heard Todd.
Love it.
Todd, what's his face?
Big Todd Howard.
Todd Howard said, you're encroaching on our story of Fallout 5.
Right. Well, they were encroaching because they were going to have the main quest of the story was going to be you're leaving the vault and you're going to go find your dad or mom or grandpa or uncle, brother. I mean, that's the whole story.
Wait a minute. You can't reuse what we've reused
that's
over
what it
and
is.
over again.
I can't remember the guys. I can't remember what it was. I think it's the ghoul, and they switch up the names all the time, and I apologize. I can't remember his name in the real world. But his name is blank Howard, I think.
Oh, really?
And his name, they put his last name as Howard because of Todd.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's a lot of call-outs I notice. It's cool. I'm not a huge fan of the main actress.
Ella Purnell. I think it's how you say her name.
Yeah.
I think she works.
I think she's I don't know any other movie or show that she's ever been on. I'm sure she's probably pretty good. I don't know. It just
she feels like
you really got to capture me, especially when it comes to fighting and blood and violence and like drama and like someone dying, someone living. Like I gotta just feel it. I don't feel anything. And you know what? I probably don't feel anything in any show ever. I mean, I like Shogun a lot, probably because it's mostly in subtitles.
Yeah, you don't feel anything. Just period.
I feel a lot about
really quickly though.
Games.
Hold on, really quickly.
Yeah, I'm not trying to jump you.
I hope not. What does that mean? Are you gonna kill me?
That's a different video.
His name's Cooper Howard.
Yeah,
that's the name of the character.
Cool name.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Dang it!
I'm sorry, buddy.
Dang it,
loser.
What was it that I was gonna say? Now it's really gonna bother me.
I don't know. It's okay.
Whatever. It doesn't matter, dude. Hey, Fallout, good.
Hey, Fallout's good. And you know what?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm really proud of what they did with this because you look at something like Halo, the TV show of Halo, and it's so easy that they could have just cashed it in that way, changed the story whatsoever. And then even before the Halo show was coming out, I think it was Microsoft Studios who now makes Halo. They were like, yeah, the show's not canon. And that there, I was like, okay, that's a red flag. That's not good. Clearly somebody at Microsoft Studios saw this and they're like, I don't think this is going to fit very well.
Well, man, the Halo show is bad because I don't think anybody can adapt Halo. Halo is a first-person shooter video game, like through and through.
But I mean, Fallout is that for a lot of people too. Some people play third person,
also
but
story branches. There's a huge there's Fallout pulls inspiration from a bunch of stuff.
Right.
Old samurai movies, old westerns, everything.
A lot of religious stuff in those shows, in those games.
Yeah, a lot of military movies. Like
they love aliens.
Yeah,
one of their favorite. Clearly, whoever was developing Halo 1, Halo 2 loved aliens.
Oh yeah,
there's tons of catchphrases in that movie that are straight out of Aliens.
Yeah, but yeah, also, I kind of wanted to say, you
first. Go ahead. Keep going.
I wanted to say that. It does make me want to play a new Fallout game and which I didn't know this, but Fallout 4 is going to get a Series X PS5 upgrade on the 25th.
Perfect timing, obviously.
It is perfect timing because it gives people enough time to finish the show.
Yeah. But
it also is kind of funny because the PS5 and Xbox Series have been out for 4+ years now.
Yeah. It's almost becoming obsolete.
So I just was like, why? What? So that game is running right now at 30 FPS right now. If I pop it in.
Is that true? I don't think it.
Maybe on PS5 it will be. On Xbox Series it probably has a FPS boost like the rest of the Fallout games.
Yeah, I would assume so.
But I guarantee, because if you played Fallout 4 on PS5, which is the PS4 version, it's at 30 frames.
Really? I didn't realize that. I'm
almost 100% positive.
Okay.
Or else, why would they be having a?
Well, they are adding stuff, from what I understand. They're putting in, which is kind of cool. They're putting in like an Enclave quest.
Oh, okay.
Storyline, not a storyline, but a side quest that you can do. There's going to be new Enclave power armor as well as some outfits and stuff. They're clearly trying to tease, I think, the next iteration of what Fallout. By the way, do you think Fallout, the next version of Fallout, is going to come out before the Elder Scrolls game? Because they've never done that.
Well, they did that with 4.
No, because it was Skyrim and then 4. 4 came after Skyrim. It was 3 Skyrim, 4
yeah, you're right.
blank.
So
what was next?
It was like
I guess they did 76.
Elder Scrolls, Oblivion, and then Fallout
3. Yeah.
And then Skyrim.
Yeah.
And then
And then Fallout. No, and then
Vegas came before Fallout 4. Jeez, man.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. Okay.
So yeah, I do, and they also release Fallout games. Well, there's been 76. You got to count 76.
Yeah, I said
so. There's already been one.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we count 76? I mean, that's the thing. I don't know.
Our good buddy Steven, he recommended. He was like, "Dude, I think you should try that right now."
Some people really like 76. It's not for me.
When it first came out, there were no NPCs.
It was garbage.
There was nothing Fallout-y about it, gameplay-wise.
It was one of the worst launches I can remember. Fallout 76,
and it's been heavily updated. Yeah, so maybe I'll give it a shot.
The thing for me for Fallout 76, and I've tried it within the last year and a half or so. But the thing that I don't love about Fallout 76 is it really kind of tries to focus on the things that I don't love about Fallout 4, which is like the settlements, the buildings and building your own type of settlement and whatnot. I'm like, I don't need all through Fallout 4. I had the dang guy from the Minutemen coming up to me. Hey, another settlement needs your help. I'll mark it on your map. And I'm like, Preston Garvey. I cannot believe I remember his name.
There's also you can mod it on Xbox heavily. Like you can in Skyrim.
Yeah.
So that's another reason for me to jump into 4, actually.
Yeah.
When the
Plus, with the next gen update,
with the next gen
But I don't know. I wonder if those mods are going to be able to carry over with the next gen update.
When it came to Skyrim, they had to do the anniversary edition. They had to take some of those mods and redo those mods. It's all done individually, but I think they know ahead of time, and those modders,
they know what they're doing.
They're, relentless.
They were making in Fallout 4, they were making a Fallout London. That was the thing that was happening. Yeah. But now they canceled it, or they paused it indefinitely because of the next gen version that's coming out.
Well, man, in Skyrim, they basically made Morrowind, which is the Elder Scrolls 3, in the Skyrim modding community.
They made a bunch of like really cool quest lines too, if I remember correctly.
Oh, and companions. I cannot play Skyrim without the modded companions.
Right.
Because they're really good, fully voiced, amazing characters.
See, I got to try that. I think I went through Skyrim, and Skyrim doesn't, I understand why everybody loves it. It's not, you get a lot of people to land on either side of the spectrum for those games, Fallout or Skyrim. I'm more of a Fallout person. I don't love Skyrim as much.
I'm definitely more of an Elder Scrolls person for sure. But I love Fallout too.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why Skyrim is so well loved and Elder Scrolls in general so well loved. Yeah. Because I've beaten Skyrim as well. I don't think I ever played Oblivion, to be honest with you. That was still
Oblivion is for the memes only right now.
For the memes only. True. Yeah. But Fallout TV show. Go watch it. It's really good. I would say I'm impressed way beyond my wildest dreams of anything I was ever going to get Fallout show. Because I was like, I saw this. I was like, this is a money grab. They just want to make more money. Because this is coming off the heels of Fallout 76. And I was like, okay, they made a multiplayer game for no other reason than, to kind of sell the stuff in the store. And then they made a battle royale in Fallout 76. And I was like, I'm going to die. Cool. And I was like, okay, this is a money grab. Again, they're going to do it again. And they made a really well-crafted, good original Fallout story in a Fallout TV show. Well, and I tip my cap to Todd Howard and the crew over at Amazon. Yeah, well done. Well done to them.
I think it's probably better than that horrifying Lord of the Rings Amazon show.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. What is it?
Rings of Power.
Rings of Power, that's right. That should be good too. Yeah. Because they have the source material, don't they?
Of course. Yeah.
So it's not like
there's like a book license and the movie license. They have the book license.
Yeah.
And that's rough. I mean, there's endless things.
I haven't seen it, but I have heard it's not.
It's
great.
Awful.
It's not great.
I mean, some of the worst stuff I've ever seen on TV.
I think that's the most money ever spent on a TV show.
Yeah, they should have given that budget to Fallout.
Oh man, they would drop real nukes. Just for the practical effects.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay. Yeah. Let's move
last week.
Yeah. Barely.
Game preservation.
Oh yeah.
The Crew is gone forever. You ever heard of the game The Crew?
The Crew. I've heard of it. I never played it though.
So The Crew is basically the Need for Speed guys at EA. No, Ubisoft. I'm sorry. So not Need for Speed. EA or Ubisoft did The Crew, and I thought it was good. Came out 2015, 14, around the PS4, right. Xbox One launch. And it was very impressive when it comes to the world. It's an open world racer that takes place in America. It's just, I'm
looking up the release date really quick.
It was shortened, and but it was a lot of fun. So you can go in California. You can go to Laguna Seca, which is my favorite track in the world. Mazda Raceway.
I know where that is.
Yeah,
I raced that recent. Well, not. I almost said like I raced there. Yeah. It's in Forza Motorsport.
It's almost in every video game.
Yeah.
So you can just take a couple laps out of that, then go into the parking lot, and then hit
the road.
I-80 and go across the country.
2014 is when it came out.
And so it was fun. Well, that game is gone. Ubisoft pulled it, didn't renew any licenses, and you cannot download that. You cannot play it in your library. So I own the game digitally, and it's gone.
Gone forever. That's messed up. It's interesting. It's interesting they didn't give you any sort of. Did they give you a notice or anything?
Well, yeah, they gave it last year. They gave me a notice.
Oh, okay.
They said in 1 year, on March 31st, it'll be gone. and it's gone. And I kind of forgot about it. But the funny thing, I was thinking about it when I read the news, and I really liked that game. I don't think it was loved by a lot of people, probably because it was during the PS4, Xbox One launch area, and the graphics weren't super great,
right,
compared to racers that were coming
Forza
out.
Horizon, whatever was coming out.
But it was a huge open world, so they cut some corners, and
nice.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Racing term.
I thought it was a lot of fun, and I one day maybe I'd like to play it again. I mean, I feel like playing it right now, and you can't. It's gone. It's gone forever. What does that make you feel like?
Do you play the Crew 2?
So I did play the Crew 2. I played the demo, I believe, and it was more or less the same, but I was just not into that at that moment. But I would have liked from Ubisoft.
Oh, here we go. This is
at least a discount on the Crew 2 or replace it. So if you love CSGO or Overwatch 1, you can't play those games anymore. But you can download CS2 and Overwatch 2.
They would argue they're different games.
Yes, they are, for sure.
I'm talking about Crew 2.
No,
and
the Crew
1.
2 and Crew 1 are pretty close. The Crew Motorsport, or whatever they call it, the Motorfest, that's the one that came out last year.
Oh, yeah. Wow. I forgot
that's
about that
pretty radically different, but it still has the same concept, going across country and stuff.
They would argue it's a
world.
different game entirely. Crew 2.
Yeah, but why not? I paid $60 for the Crew.
Yeah, but it was 2014. So they're thinking, all right, it's been 10 years. He'll get over it. No big deal. He got $60 worth out of that video game.
So it just brings up the conversation, which we don't need to freaking talk about all the time.
I'm not.
The idea of digital ownership just doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's not real.
You don't own it. Even if you own the disc of the Crew.
You know what's crazy?
You're going to pop that in and nothing's going to happen.
You know what's crazy about that? Is I was, as if this isn't talked about enough already, Dune Part 2 came out today.
Yeah.
And I was going to buy it on Amazon.
Oh.
And I was thinking to myself, I was like, do I want to own this digitally? Because what could happen where I end up losing the license for whatever reason, even though I paid money for this?
Yeah.
Do I want to own this? It's $30. So I won't dish out $30 for Doom Part 2. And I lose it for some reason.
I think you should own the disc because, especially when it comes to movies or TV shows, because you can get a 4K Blu-ray.
Right.
And then put it in your 4K TV. You're never going to really stream quality 4K to your TV like wirelessly.
Well, what about like the PS5 still has a Blu-ray player?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Same with the Xbox Series. It has one.
Yeah, they both do now. Yeah. That was the big selling. I remember that being kind of a big selling point, I think, for the PS3. You remember that?
Yeah.
When it was like, this is a Blu-ray player.
It's a Blu-ray. It was a cheap Blu-ray because at the time they were like $800 and the PS3 was $600.
Right. Yeah, that was a big deal too.
Ridiculous.
So yeah, the Crew, it's gone forever.
Yeah, it's gone forever.
I'm curious to see what happens if you have a disc.
So that also brings up, I'm going to skip Final Fantasy 7 to the
No, we
next.
want to talk Final Fantasy. That's a big deal.
No, I know. I do want to talk about it.
Okay. You're coming back.
Into Lawbreakers 2.0.
Right.
Because this Lawbreakers was also a digital game. Well, it was a digital game that it was gone forever. I think you could download it, and it was free to play, I believe.
It's not too it's still Lawbreakers.
It's still Lawbreakers.
But it's
so what happened was a group of fans of Lawbreakers, which is, by the way, an arena shooter.
Yeah.
It is like an arena Unreal shooter, kind of made by Cliff Bleszinski, who made Unreal.
Reminds me of Quake. If it reminds me of anything, it reminds me of Quake. Every time I see
Quake and Unreal, they're practically the same thing.
It's not good.
No, it was really good.
Oh, sorry.
It was really good, and it was critically really good, and people who played it really liked it. It was it came out during the Overwatch hype.
Yeah,
the hero shooter
that'll kill you.
Rising Phoenix.
Right. Yeah.
So people stopped playing it. Now through Steam, you can play this game, and I think you might have to go through a Steam Workshop download, maybe, which is very easy. Mm-hmm. And these guys made a launcher with servers on it. So I
didn't realize you could do that.
That PC gaming is so cool.
Dude.
You can launch the game and you can play online with a bunch of people. Now the hackers are probably going to hear this story and just go rampant.
They're like, oh, well, I can test it out here.
Exactly. In the meantime, I think it's a really cool story because I like that game. It was dead for 5 or 6 years and now it's alive again.
Shout out to the community. The community of Lawbreakers, which they are in themselves.
No.
Lawbreakers.
is actually, he tweeted it out or X'd it out, whatever you want to call it. How do you call
tweet
it?
We'll just tweet it out.
I say
it's
tweet.
just easier.
Yeah, he tweeted it out, giving him praise. That's how I heard about it.
And they're going to bring that up in the court of law and be like, yeah, we can't use this. This is a tweet.
Yeah.
And like 10 years.
I don't think he has anything to do with Epic, or I don't even know if Epic has anything to do with Lawbreakers anymore. But I don't know who owns it. But the community owns it now.
How did they get the availability to make a launcher that was able to access servers for Lawbreakers? I don't understand
No, it's
that.
their own servers, I believe.
So they look at this mic is moving by itself, dude. There's a ghost in here.
It's because of the weight.
Okay, we're good.
They meant like the tripod.
My name is James.
My name is James.
Anyways, Lawbreakers, whatever, dude. Server science is really confusing me. I don't
So
understand how it
leave it
works.
to the community to save your games, because
True.
the companies that make them, they don't care about them, and they will send you to court if you try to play them after you bought them.
And then the police is going to break in and be
Here's
like,
the funny
cuff
thing.
them.
What if you bought The Crew 2 weeks ago?
If you bought The Crew 2 weeks ago, one, it's probably free somewhere, so you're the idiot in that situation.
I'm guarantee you it was probably $20.
I guarantee you it was free somewhere. I'm willing to shake your hand right now.
No, I'm talking about on the
you.
the Xbox Marketplace. Go to The Crew, and you're like, I really like The Crew. I had it on a disc a long time ago. I sold it. I want to play it again. So that you're like, oh, I'll pay $20 for the digital version. And then a week later, you...
and they'll be like, buy The Crew 2 instead. It's not 10 years old.
Do they refund you? No one has been refunded, by the way.
Well, no, I don't think anybody would be.
Well, of course someone bought it. I guarantee someone bought it.
I mean, I don't. No,
Recently?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I disagree. I don't think so. I don't think somebody bought The Crew. Because one, I do think it was like a Ubisoft Plus or whatever, which you get connected, I believe, with Game Pass.
Okay.
And you can download it for free on that.
Well, here's the thing. Right now, you could download one of my favorite multiplayer games that came out 4 or 5 years ago. It was Warface. They had their own.
Yeah.
You know Warface, the free to play.
Yeah.
They had their own kind of spin-off shooter that was very much like a console Counter-Strike.
Wait, Warface or Warframe? Because
Warface.
there's two of them. Okay,
Yeah.
Warface.
And it was awesome. It wasn't supported very well, and it ran its course a few years, and then it's gone. It's pretty much dead. You can buy that right now, but when you buy it, it says we are going to take this offline in a couple weeks or whatever. So I'm sure that happened with The Crew.
Yeah, I think you should just have as long as if whatever store you're in is notifying you, if you're going to buy The Crew or whatever game that is going offline soon, if there's some way to notify that person before they're making the purchase, hey, at this point in time, we're going to be taking this offline. Then you're buying it at your own discretion at that point.
I hate modern day gaming and how you have to jump through hoops just to play a game.
Everything's just connected to the interwebs, dude. That's all it is. Server space is money.
Like, I like the fact...
That's money, dog.
I don't know. I like owning things with my hands.
And you know what it is? Ubisoft has to make up that money because Skull and Bones is probably a disaster. Which is also a good segue into our other story.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
It's not... I don't know how... If it's not doing well, that's probably seems too harsh.
It's loved by everybody who plays it.
Yeah.
I think some people were a little disappointed because it gets a little wild. But
it's also... Here's the thing. Okay, you know what? I'll say it.
Go ahead.
Why did they make this a 3-parter? Okay. I hate it. Well, I hate the way that they're releasing this.
So Rebirth is part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I know.
So right here, it says that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is underperforming sales-wise. It's selling about half of what Remake sold in the same time frame, and looks like it will have a weaker tail, meaning it's not going to make up
last
for it.
As long. Yeah.
So that's really bad news because it's probably the biggest budget game that is going to be released this year.
Yeah.
And it's already failing.
How long is that game? Do you know?
Oh, it's long.
Remake or Rebirth? Also bad names. I'm going to say that right off the rip.
Yep. It's long. It's probably about 60 hours long, I guarantee. 40 to 60 hours.
I just don't understand. Like, there's plenty of games that have had the remakes of recent years that have the length to them.
Yeah.
That you can just put into one game. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Nobody...
Well, here's the thing. This is what Square Enix wanted to do. They wanted to have a faithful remake of Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997 on PS1.
Right.
It's a huge game.
Right.
It was a huge game on 3 discs, right? So they're trying to faithfully remake it.
They wanted to create that sensation.
You're not going to be able to faithfully remake it into one modern game. It's just there's too much. You're going to have to cut too much content, and I guess they don't want to do that.
That's not a good enough reason.
They're just spending all the money to make it into 3 parts.
Well, okay, that's if it's too big, then cut it into a 2 game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if they would have, it doesn't matter if they would have finished it on this version, it would have still sold half as much as last.
Now, I also think kind of partially, I think the title has a part of a problem to do. If they did remake part 1 and then remake part 2, I think it would probably have done better.
Well, I'll tell you why I didn't get it, because I played I was really hyped for it, and I replayed Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS5 right before it came out, and then that game's 40 hours long. I put 40 hours into it.
Burned yourself out.
And I was like, I'm not going to do any more of this. So I didn't buy it. I plan on buying it later. But it looks like I'm part of the problem.
Maybe you're part of the tail.
No, and here's what I want to say, James.
Okay, fine.
I'm not part of the problem.
I didn't say that. You said that.
Part of the problem is these games cost too much money.
That's their fault.
Yes, it's
their fault.
Like, what do you mean my $4 billion investment into this Final Fantasy Remake Part 2 didn't pay off? It's just...
It's also they're making it into an 8-year project at this point.
People with these open world ideas, and which is funny because the original Final Fantasy VII had an open world, really. In a
and this one doesn't?
JRPG sense. It does, just like that. It's just, it's graphically upgraded.
Yeah.
And it's big. So it costs a lot of money. But I just you're never going to get that money back. There's too many games out there for people to play. There's games like Helldivers that
come from out of nowhere.
Helldivers is going to be the new model for AAA games, which is don't spend AAA money or quadruple A money, Ubisoft.
Yeah, but it feels like every time we get something like Helldivers, that's what we say. And then this huge AAA game comes out.
Which one?
Any of the FromSoft games. Any of those games that come out. And they're like, we could make a game that's just like this.
I think that FromSoft now, I think Elden Ring is a AAA game for sure. But they have a formula down where I don't think they spend as much money. So they made,
right.
What is that? Armored Core 6?
Yeah.
That's definitely that's not a AAA game. I wouldn't consider that a AAA game.
No, but Elden Ring is.
Yes.
Okay.
But they have done a good job at keeping their budget low enough to make a profit. It's like Nintendo
right.
does.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm saying, and From Software is not the problem. It's the problem comes from people that play Elden Ring or executives that see Elden Ring, and they're like, we can make this, but we can do it bigger and better.
I got you.
And then it crashes and burns, and that's what happens. Another version that was huge, Destiny, when those live service model for console games started coming out, and Destiny was kind of the focal point of that. And then everybody after that was like, we can do this bigger and better.
And now look at Destiny now.
Exactly. And it has not panned out for basically any of them.
Well, I think that it could have. They just didn't move on.
Yeah. But they're also just overconfident in finding the wrong things that make things like Elden Ring really great.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's going to be the future anymore. I don't
think so either. Absolutely not.
I think people will be like, oh, Sony first party game. Well, it's a second party game, Helldivers, but it's Sony money. And they're like, maybe we should just do something like that.
I agree.
Hire some good developers.
That's where we disagree. Because I think here's what they're going to do. They're going to be like, okay, we can make a type of Helldivers game. Let's hire developers. They cost how much? We could find somebody cheaper. Get somebody cheaper, try to make this massive game that's bigger than Helldivers, not the same thing as Helldivers, and then it crashes and burns because then they don't have the support afterwards that Helldivers does after the huge launch that they had. That's how it goes.
I got 3 words for you. Artificial intelligence.
That's not, you're incorrect. I don't think it's going to, one, it's not smart enough to do that now, even though it's ripping through Facebook right now, but I don't think it's smart enough to do a lot of that stuff for video games right now. Anyways.
No, it's
that could change drastically.
But I think developers might be banking on it.
Yeah,
or at least guys who make video games for a living are going to have that in their back pocket on how to do some AI stuff. I know I have to do it as a graphic designer. Although if you rely on it, you're going to lose hard.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the case in the future as well.
Yeah, we have to find a perfect mixture.
There's going to be, it's just like
a balance.
You know, like what is that thing called? The trough thing for laying brick and mortar?
Right. So AAA Studios, the trough thing, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's the spade that you use the mortar to put on the brick.
Spade.
That's when it comes to human civilization, it's fairly new, but it didn't stop.
Are you talking about the triangle thing?
Yeah.
Looks like I don't know what it's called. The triangle thing.
Sorry.
You said trough, which is funny. That's the thing like pigs drink out of.
I know. That's what I drink out of.
Nice. You dog.
That's it.
But yeah, I do think that for something like Helldivers 2, which is a good point, I do think with the success that people are seeing from that, we could very easily see a move in that direction for game studios. But the other thing that's happening in game development is a lot of these AAA studios aren't putting themselves out there towards other executives. They're just making stuff in-house, you know? So it's just all in-house projects that they're making at this point. Does that make sense?
Well, not
Does that make sense what I'm saying?
When you say in-house, I disagree because it's probably more houses than ever that they're using to develop games.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. That's a fair assessment. I guess
what you mean,
yeah.
like I know what you mean, like financially.
Right. Like Bethesda isn't going to outsource much of their work because they're already working on something in specific.
Yeah.
Or in particular.
Yeah.
And they have a plan for it.
I think you know what's really, I was talking to my friend and we were talking about this and how games might be like doomed. The way the projection that we've all experienced in our life with games going up in terms of technology and graphical power.
Oh, right.
And all that stuff. It's just going
it's like the housing market.
Yeah, it's going to, well, not really.
In 2008, I'm thinking 2008. Okay. It's like the housing market.
Yeah, I guess there is kind of a gaming crash. There's an economical crash
I don't think
all over the world right now. But
right. I don't think it's happening right now, though. I understand what you're saying, where it does feel like basically from the beginning, we've gone up in tech. From the start all the way up and up and up. And we're still going up.
Things have gotten easier and easier in terms of what you can do with the money you have, except for the last 4 or 5 years. This generation is just proving that your games are too big, dude.
Right. There is some sort of plateau that does feel like it's kind of either coming or already here.
Yeah. You have Rockstar and then you have everybody else. And not everybody can do Rockstar, but everybody can make a good game. Everybody can do a game that I'm going to mention in a little bit, Umurangi Generation or Umurangi Generation. Game's very cheap but awesome.
I will say though too, like with the plateauing, I think that comes also very directed towards console gaming because how high are you going to get to the point where you're not just like, why don't I just get a PC, right?
Yeah.
Because console games, the creation of consoles is only going to keep getting more expensive.
Yeah.
And at some point, there is going to be a plateau or a jumping off point.
You've been hearing about what like Microsoft and PlayStation have been saying, or Sony have been saying about their mid-gen upgrade or even their next console. They keep saying, oh, it's going to be the biggest leap in technology we've ever had.
We've heard that for the last 10 years. Stupid.
If you say that one more time, Microsoft, I'm never
6 teraflops of developing power. I remember that being like the big thing.
The PS5 Pro has it's like 30 teraflops, which is more than the 8 or 9 that it has. Right. But the CPU is the same, so the CPU is going to bottleneck your teraflopping. It's just, I'm not buying it. And
I also saw,
and actually, I wanted to mention, me and my friend were talking about this. And we were just, laughing at Sony, laughing at Microsoft, some, laughing at a lot of PC developers too. But we were talking to each other and we just said Nintendo. Nintendo laughs at all you guys.
They don't care about, they're just like, yeah, we got this handheld. It slots into your TV and it juts out 720p, but.
And our games
don't care
so much, and we are not we're not, giving it the Rockstar treatment.
That internet thing that you guys have been talking about, we figured that out about 10 years ago.
We figured that out just recently.
We just figured out the
plugin actually.
The plugin stuff. Really you're right. And it's incredible because people are like, this is the greatest console ever made. And you know what? The Switch, it has done a lot. I understand.
No, it's done a lot more than...
It's a really cool handheld, obviously. Not necessarily for me. And the fact that people can play that with like 720p because that's what it is when you put it into the, and it's like people are like, yeah, this works for me.
I have
like,
I have a retro thing. It's called the M Classic. I think the company's Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
It takes your old consoles and makes it up-reses it without losing,
like old consoles,
without losing or without giving up input.
Like the Genesis
lag. Yeah.
Right?
No, not just Genesis.
But you said old consoles, and I think some people would think like PS3, and it's not doing that.
So basically, it starts with PS2. So anything 480i or 480p.
Yeah.
You can up-res that to 720 or 1080p with this M Classic. Well, I just found out that people use this M Classic for their Switch often.
That makes sense.
Because, yeah, like you said, 720 can be put forth to 1440 on their TV really easily with this thing. I use it for retro gaming, but...
I never thought about that.
I think that's the answer for a lot of things. Oh, man, there's going to be a lot more peripherals in the future. When it comes to console gaming.
We got a lot of peripherals we got to talk about.
Yeah. Speaking of peripheral.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm the one that... Hey, wait. I'm the one that does the segues here, all right?
Go ahead.
I wasn't ready. I saw today, actually, Sony is looking for... When they eventually have their PS5 Pro or whatever come out, they're looking for developers to include a PS5 Pro performance mode.
For which game?
Whatever comes out on Sony, like Sony first party games.
Okay, yeah.
We'll have the performance mode and then the PS5 Pro performance mode.
Yeah.
And I'm like...
You know, it actually kind of sucks for someone who's not going to get a PS5 Pro.
But that's my point, though. Is the upgrade's not going to be big enough anyways. It's going to feel the same.
Yes, but it's also going to make developers have to make another version of their game.
They're going to have to do it for three of them now.
If I like performance modes in my games, are they going to give a performance mode for a regular PS5?
That's the thing. Is like I think part of it has to...
Is it going to be grayed out like it was on the original PS4?
Part of it has to go... part of it has to fall on, in my opinion, these console developers and having... And listen, my Xbox One people, my PS4 people, I love you guys, okay? Yeah. I love you guys. It's been 5 years, though. Man. Here's what I'm going to say. There has to be some sort of jumping off point where the console developers, Sony, Microsoft, they're like, okay, we're leaving you guys behind. We can start making really good stuff if we got rid of the Xbox One and the PS4.
I mean, imagine how much better God of War Ragnarok would have been if you didn't have that stupid loading section where you crawl in between a rock or jump over a rock and the camera zooms in.
Yeah.
Every 10 minutes.
That's a loading screen. Yeah.
That's a PS4 loading screen. It's just that they are making a game for PS4 when they should have just been making an exclusive PS5 game. With that SSD that they sold me on. Which I have you played a game where it's like this feels a lot different? I know Ratchet and Clank was pretty good. When
the only one that I can think of right off the top of my head, and this is also kind of a segue, would be when they released the director's cut for Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, yeah.
Where I was like, okay, this feels so much better.
I'm playing that.
It looks a lot better.
It does. It's very soft, though, which I like.
No, it's not. You're cutting people. Okay, there's nothing soft about that.
It's soft looking, which I think is really painterly and pretty, I guess.
Yeah.
When it comes to...
I think that's kind of the point, though.
An open world game. Yeah, for sure. And they pull it off better than...
When you're doing when you're in like the training sections with your uncle and like the leaves are falling around it, you can move them. The leaves are moving up. Oh, goosies, goosebumps.
Well, anyways, that's
let's move on.
And notable games releasing this week.
Start it off. Give us the worst game in the history of games.
All right, this game is finally coming to PS5, PS4. It's called Umurangi or Umurangi Generation.
What are we doing here?
This game is amazing.
What are we doing here?
Let me tell you.
What are we doing with these names?
Umurangi Generation. I don't think I ever came across that word Umurangi.
I don't think it's a word. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think it's a word.
It might be a Japanese onomatopoeia like Doki Doki. I don't know.
Okay, I guess, but it's all one. I don't care, dude. Whatever. Umurangi Generation.
It's a photograph simulator type of game.
Oh wow, really?
The game.
What's the next game we ever know?
No, the game is. It has PS1 graphics, purposely PS1 graphics with like a purposeful, aliasing jaggy lines.
What are you talking about right now?
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
It's graphically, it looks terrible on purpose.
But it's a photograph simulator.
It's supposed to be, yes. You're supposed to make pretty photographs out of it, which you can, it's the reason why the game is so cool. You're basically a character that goes to these parties or these events and it's in the future, and you got to take pictures of cool things like your friends and stuff. And that's it. And there's like a little missions to make sure to take a picture of the red cardinal that's flying around. And it gets a little dystopian each level you go, and it's really cool. It's really, really cool. I don't know if you've ever played a game, James, where you take a picture of things, and that's the entire gameplay loop.
What's the Pokemon one?
But it's cool. Pokemon Snap.
Yeah, that's a famous one.
This game's way better than that. But it's same concept, I guess.
Yeah.
I think you should look it up. It's really cool looking, and it's really good. I didn't think it was. I read a review a couple years ago that it was good. I finally played it, and then I was like, I beat the whole thing. I think I platinumed it. Or
you're like, I got 100 pictures and I was done.
It's called. I 100%ed it.
I got 150 pictures and I was done.
The next game coming out is Soul Covenant. It's a
good name.
Yes, it is. It's a VR anime style hack and slash.
Okay.
Think Diablo in first person.
That's more up my alley.
In an anime situation. And then the third game is Europa, which is an open world like action adventure game. Looks like Zelda.
Good name.
Looks like Zelda, like the modern Zeldas. And it looks really good, actually. That's why I wrote it down here.
Okay.
And that's
shout out to Umangagi. Apologize for that. You ever seen Jumanji, by the way?
The movie?
Yeah.
What year is it?
Great movie. I
love that movie. Yeah,
love that movie.
I have the Jumanji game.
Oh, the actual board game?
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's really, really cool and expensive. I bought it for my wife.
It probably is really cool. You get sucked into the thing and you're like,
one
whoa.
year, so we can play it as a family. And she's never played it.
Watch the sequel.
Shout out Melody.
Watch the sequel called Zathura.
I'm not going to watch that.
What?
I know what you're talking about.
It's good, actually. I've seen that movie.
We actually brought that up on the show a long time ago.
We did?
Yeah, we did. You were trying to describe it. And I was
great.
Like,
it's like a sci-fi version of Jumanji. It's awesome.
Yeah. So, James, what games are you playing this week?
I am playing Zathura the video. No, I'm just kidding.
I think they did make a PS2 video game.
They made there was at one point where there was a video game coming out for every movie that ever existed. So that doesn't surprise me. There's a Princess Bride game.
There is?
There's a Princess Bride game.
What system?
Who cares? Nothing good. I don't remember. I think it was a PS1 game or a PS2 game or something. It's not good though.
You've played it. You dork.
So what, dude?
What a loser!
Remember what's the Halloween movie that's very, very popular?
Hocus Pocus.
Bingo. There's a Hocus Pocus video game too.
That's not the popular Halloween movie. I just knew that that's the game that he was playing.
What's the popular Halloween movie?
I mean, there's a whole bunch.
If it's not, yeah, but
there's that one movie called Halloween that's pretty popular.
No, not that one. I'm thinking of the one that's like, and I'm gonna get a little weird.
You're talking about Hocus Pocus. I know you.
That's the one I'm talking. Yeah. Okay, so it's the one where if you go up to any woman who's ever seen Hocus Pocus and you ask them what's your favorite Halloween movie, they'll always say Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of. Correct?
Yeah,
okay, Hocus Pocus
in it.
Sure. Got a game too.
I bet. I guarantee.
I know. I do. I played it.
I know. I played your favorite Jaws game too.
That's true. How's it? Hey, Jaws Unleashed. How's it going for you?
Dude, it's awesome. I
love
that
game. That is a good game. I don't know if Hocus Pocus has a video game. I was making that up, but you would believe it.
I think I can see the cover of it.
Exactly. Well, of course, it's just the three of them. They're all smiling. They're like, next to Jack-o'-lantern.
So what game are you playing?
Doom. Ever heard of it? It's the new Doom. 2016 was the first one I think that came out.
You said you played it last week and you beat it, so you're on to Eternal then.
Yeah, I beat them both.
Oh.
I beat them both now. Doom Eternal, both. Man, every time I play those games, I'm blown away at how good.
Did you play the DLC for Eternal?
I've played it once. I didn't do it this time. I started it and I was like, okay, I'm a little doomed out at this point. But they're good.
Yeah,
I like Ancient. It's called Ancient Gods. They're good.
Yeah, so did you... Remember that video you showed me of the final boss?
Yes.
Is that Ancient Gods or is that the proper Eternal?
That's Ancient Gods Part 2.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Lord of the Rings scene where you get the whole armies lining up and ready to go fight each other, and then you have the Dark Lord on one end and then your guy on one end. It's really cool. And the music going crazy because Mick Gordon's insane. They need to. Whoever, Bethesda, this is me calling you out. Get Mick Gordon back in there, please. Okay, he is really, honestly, partially the reason those games are so good because the music is unbelievably good in Doom and Doom Eternal and Wolfenstein. He made the Wolfenstein games too.
Also, you can't forget. Also, great Mick Gordon soundtrack is Atomic Heart.
I would like to forget that though. I would like to forget that because that game's terrible.
No, that game's awesome.
You played it recently this weekend.
Yeah, I did.
That game's not awesome. You need to stop with that. Stop selling that game, okay? Because it's not awesome.
I love that game.
It's awful. I do not like that game.
I love it. It's a Russian BioShock game, and I like that the very tongue-in-cheek. It's like what you like. You like retrofuturism. It's
I do.
Post World War II, where communists have used atomic energy to boost their. I want to say economy, but that doesn't have one. But
it sounds right up my alley. But
their culture, I guess.
But here's their thing. They made the character so unlikable.
Yeah, he's very annoying.
He's the worst main character. Not all the time.
Cracks me up.
I hate him so much.
It's kind of the same thing that happened with what was the other game? The guy who made Rick and Morty.
Hate him. I know what game you're talking about. The Xbox game.
Something.
High on Life. High on Life. Yeah.
Same thing happened with that game where the main character, which was
Rick and Morty guy?
Your guns, basically.
Right.
The guns that you carry.
Yeah.
They are so annoying. They do not stop talking. And it bothered people so much. The same thing happened with Atomic Heart.
Yeah, that's how it is for me. I was like, wow, this world is really cool. I wish this guy that I am would stop talking. Please stop talking. He's awful. I hated it for that reason.
I think he's hilarious. It's just, I love when his humor falls flat and he actually will grumble like that. Yeah, I fell flat. Something like that. He just doesn't stop talking.
Just be like Doom Guy, okay?
Yeah.
That's what I want. You're cool.
People
I'm
would
cool
have definitely liked that game a lot more. If it also released a little janky, it had that Euro jank to it for sure. Any other game you're playing?
Eternal, I said that already. Doom. Still, I've been going back and forth to Dead Island 2.
That's a fun game.
It's okay. I still prefer the first one. I've said this before as well, but the tone shift from 1 to 2 is mind-boggling to me.
I feel the same way about Alan Wake 2. Man, that tone shift. I want to punch anybody who likes that game. No, I don't really. I know.
What are you doing?
I know.
You can punch our audience. That's most of our fans.
I know.
Almost all of them probably like Alan Wake 2.
I know Will really likes it.
Will loves Alan Wake 2.
I love the first one, and then the second one, the whole feeling of the game changed so much. I'm like, what am I doing? Why is this Alan Wake Part 2? Can't this be something else?
A Wake 2. Yeah.
So I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. Even though I disagree, I think Part 2 of Dead Island is better than Part 1.
And I hate that take. Wow, that take stung. That was like I was about to sneeze. That's how bad that hurt. That was awful.
Anything else you're playing?
Is there anything else I'm playing? Nope, not really.
Are you still grinding now, Rainbow Six Siege? What rank are you?
The last time I played, which was probably about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, actually. I was sitting comfortably in Plat 3.
So after that is Emerald, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I play with a group that has 2 emeralds in it, and then it's me platinum, and I think 1, maybe 2 other platinums as well. So.
And after Emerald is Champion,
and then I think it's it's Diamond. It's Diamond, and then it's Champion, I believe.
So I have I'm playing that too. Is that all you're playing? And I want to have a quick word with Rainbow Six Siege.
Quick word from your non-sponsor Rainbow Six Siege, or 2 Rainbow Six Siege
on console. There are so many cheaters, it's unbelievable.
I don't believe you.
Every single game I played in the last 4 sessions, every single one of them have had a cheater in it, meaning someone using a Zim or a mouse adapter. And it's unbelievably apparent. Got off the stupid game. I can't stand it right now because of all the cheating going on. It's ridiculous. I go and watch Jinxie, a famous YouTube or Twitch streamer that plays that game. He has this really cool thing where he gathers people from his community and he goes, "Oh, you're a diamond. Let's challenge a emerald." Right? See how good you are. There was about a 13-hour stream. Every single person who was platinum and up had issues with playing mouse users.
Right.
They're everywhere.
I don't think that's...
Even in Jinxie's stream, one guy, he was an ex-Zim guy because he got banned. And then middle of his stream, this dude plugged it in and started dominating with it.
Of course. At what point do you think they're going to add Amesis? for consoles.
If you add aim assist to that game, you break that game.
No, I agree. You can't. But
it's already broken.
What's the other fix? They can keep trying to get rid of the Zims and whatnot, but Zim's just going to release a new patch that's going to allow the Zim to work.
They did this thing called Mousetrap, where you can connect. I don't know. When you use a Zim, you have to turn up the sensitivity of your in-game all the way up, or else your controller or your mouse won't work. You can have DPI settings in your mouse itself, but you're still going to just go as fast as your controller can go.
Right.
You got to put those players in their own lobby. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for people. And if you're a controller user who uses the sensitivity all the way up, then you can handle mouse user.
I don't know anybody that does that in that game.
No
shot.
And unless you're using a mouse.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. It's out of control. It's ruining. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but the mouse users the cheaters are ruining my time.
You get a lot of Smurfs in that game too. There's a lot of people that love to Smurf.
Yeah, and I'm in a situation. I'm only playing with 3 people if I'm lucky. So we're playing standard most of the time, and yeah, it's always like the guys who are golds and platinums.
Mm-hmm. That's
all
me.
Over the place. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it. Is that all you're playing? Right? Are you done?
Yeah, you were already going into it.
I know, my bad. I got into a rant, and I hate you, Siege. So I'm playing Tarkov Arena.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bang through this. I love, speaking of a good multiplayer game, Tarkov Arena is awesome. It also has cheaters, for sure.
As expected.
It's a PC game, but at least it's updated a lot, and cheaters get booted pretty easily. It's kind of like Counter-Strike. There's a lot of cheaters in Counter-Strike. You can tell right away when someone's cheating.
Counter-Strike, you have to use third-party software, though, in order to have it actually play well for cheaters, anyways.
Yeah.
To avoid cheaters.
Yeah. You mean like a third-party server
ESEA,
provider,
or whatever.
Yeah. Face it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at least in Arena, you can tell when someone's cheating, right? And they could possibly be banned. You can't ban a Zim user on Siege. It's like Microsoft and PlayStation, they allow it.
Right.
So they're not breaking the rules outside of the game.
Well, that's the thing is I think they can ban them from Ubisoft, or like Siege, but then they can just make another console or another profile and then just Smurf it essentially.
It's really annoying. Really annoying. And Tarkov Arena, I think it's a great game. I'm also playing Breachers, which is a first person.
How do you play all these different? I don't understand this.
It's a VR game that's very much like Siege, although it's on PSVR 2 and everything.
What to the start getting Zims in that game?
There are none. There are no cheaters in that game because I don't think people have quite got the cheating in VR games. I haven't come across a cheater.
That'll be interesting for when that happens.
But I really like it. They added a new ranked mode, and so all the kids are gone because for some reason kids just love VR games. My God.
Yeah, it is weird how there's
every lobby you get into is dominated by like 6 or 7 year olds, really young kids. But Breachers is really good. I played it very hardcore, very, very hardcore. I love it. It's really good. If you are a fan of VR games and a fan of Siege, but you can't stand Siege at this moment, play Breachers. It's awesome.
All right.
And that's it.
And Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the only one you wrote down, by the way.
I know it is.
And you didn't say that.
Ghost of Tsushima. I'm playing it because of, guess why? Shogun.
Probably.
Shogun is really, really, I'm into it, I guess, and I'm almost done with it.
What about the game, though?
But the game is really, really good. And I've played it before, but the director's cut is fantastic. 60 frames, 4K. Very gory. I forgot how gory this game was.
It's brutal.
I really want to play Rise of the Ronin, which is the Team Ninja game that just came out. But $70 is a little steep for me for something that I can play in a
better version of it, arguably.
Tsushima.
Yeah, a better version of it, arguably.
And I'm enjoying it. I like it a lot. It's probably the open world design on how to go about missions,
right,
and how to guide you through the open world. It's probably the best. They use the wind.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Your location.
Your next location.
I think Elden Ring does it best, which means they just let you go.
Yeah, no, well, you would say it's the best. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate
it's it. It's go forth.
I'm like, so what do I do here? And also when the for Ghost of Tsushima when the bird swoops down, you can hear it. You know that there's like a secret around you or something like that.
Yeah, I also forgot about that yellow bird.
Yeah.
I was trying to shoot with my arrow, and I was like, oh, I know it.
You suck.
Then I got
what
closer,
are you doing?
and then it started going further. And I was like, oh, yeah, it's leading me to do something. Yeah. And I followed it, and I got an awesome hat, basically.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
I don't know. Ghost of Tsushima is a very special game. It was the PS4 swan song, and it's very, very good. Perfect swan song. And also, you'll follow that bird sometimes, and you could find some springs. You can see Jinsekai's little buttocks as he gets in the springs. His little butt. Yeah. And he calms, and he's like, oh, I love the bamboo striking mini games.
Oh, yeah.
Very hard. Square, square, L1, square, triangle.
I love doing the
too slow.
I love doing the haikus.
Yeah.
Deep water, and then it gives you a bandana depending on the haiku you wrote.
Speaking of haikus, right before we leave, this guy hasn't played Doki Doki Literature Club.
Yeah, that's
true. You can write your own poems.
I'll get to it.
Yeah.
I'll get to it.
Yeah, I don't feel pressured to play that game.
You told me it was the greatest thing ever since sliced bread.
Also, I
am always in a bad mood. I'm like the Hulk.
If you're in a bad way in your brain, don't play this game.
What does that mean?
I'm never going to tell you until you play it.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's very cool.
You know what? Let's go. Let's leave. This is it. We're done. We're done with the show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hey, thanks for sticking with us over last week because of the audio issues. It's good now. It probably all sounds good now.
Sounds
I'm really
great.
hoping this isn't going to backfire once we go and look at this cut.
Check.
But yeah, so thank you guys very much. Episode 42. Shout out Jackie Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
It is Jackie Robinson
Ronnie
week.
Lott.
Jackie Robinson week in the MLB, which is really cool. They're all wearing 42 across the league.
I think he's Ronnie Lott is 42. I think.
Yeah, but we're talking about Jackie Robinson.
Ronnie Lott's greatest safety of all time.
Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, so.
Is that like a sound barrier? Just joking.
Okay.
See you later.
Right. See you later.